see you all here. And for this session here, we have the privilege of with us to have Maynard Webb, who has a distinguished career in the high-tech world. And he's going to be with us here for half an hour or so. I have the privilege of asking him a few questions, but I think it would be good and totally acceptable that as we engage in the conversation here and something strikes you that you have a particular question, that you would intervene, and I think we are happy to.
There's a few friends in the audience, so hopefully they'll be nice.
Yeah, that's true. I thought I'd start off by asking Maynard here, who has had a career both in IBM, the big IBM, and then in several other companies, and then of course with eBay. From his perspective, what has he learned about what it takes to maintain innovation in a company, an established company, one that has becomes already of a certain size? How do you maintain that innovative spirit, that entrepreneurial spirit that was there at the start?
You know, that's a great question, and I think innovation is one of those words that everybody gets inspired when they hear it, but actually don't do it very often or enough. And one of the things I think is true is innovation can happen anywhere. I spend a lot of time these days with startups, with my investment network, and they have to innovate or die. And a lot of companies that get bigger, it's more about being systemic in delivery and predictability, making sure you make your numbers for the street, and at the same time, that's counter to what innovation may be. So you have to find ways to not just say, I'm innovative, but to truly be innovative and set teams up with small groups and small charters so they can act like their own little startup within groups.
Yes. Yeah, because I think that
it drives me crazy that big companies struggle more with this.
Yes.
Right? I mean, and there's no reason for that. You just have to find a way to set groups up that enable them to do things they didn't think they could do. Right. And some of the things we did, Klaus will remember at eBay, that and in the beginning I didn't do this well, but I always was a fan of putting incentives in place that let the teams get rewarded and then do more. So in the beginning, we had a certain amount of allocation of spend for engineering. And if we did something more efficiently, we would take it back and add more things that the business wanted or that somebody in headroom wanted. Over time, what we did was say, you keep that. You made that benefit, you keep it. And then a quarter later, we'll add it to the general bucket so that we had incentives that would just train people to continue to be more productive and more innovative so that they could find ways to go fix the other problem. Yes. Can I talk for one other thing?
Oh, please.
This is one other thing that I would love your guys' help on, to be honest with you. At eBay, anything that was broken, Meg would usually reach over and say, Maynard, that's yours. You know, kind of like, give it to Mikey, he'll eat it. And I would often go to those teams and I would say, okay, what's the problem? And they would blame every other organization for about 15 minutes. And I'd say, okay, now pretend we can't deal with fixing that. We'll get to it. But what's wrong in your own area? And they had a list of things that drove them crazy. And product development, one time it was the build process. But you just would listen and list the things. And then I would assign the top 3 to somebody, and they would fix them. And then they would get happier, and they would fix the next 3. And I was always so confused with, why didn't you just do that already? But they get so baffled about, I can't do it, or it's somebody over here's issue that we often don't look at what we can do. There's so much more in all of us to do more. And you know, we have to figure out how to fire up our organizations and empower them to have them be heat seekers for a way to fix that.